She's a public outreach coordinator of the Water Reclamation Division with the City of Orlando. So let's give her a really big, warm round of applause.
Okay, I'm going to be walking around.
Okay, sure.
Hello, everybody. Sorry if I sound a little under the weather. So I'm here to talk to you guys about water. Surprisingly, right? Water. Alright, so what I do on a daily basis is I work at an education center at a water reclamation facility. So I teach people just like you, people of all ages, all about water and how to be more water conscious. So, does anyone know or has ever heard of water reclamation? A few of you? Yeah, does anyone want to tell me exactly what that means? Anybody? You can read the slide behind me. Okay, go ahead.
When you flush the toilet, that water's gotta go somewhere.
It's gotta go somewhere. Absolutely. So we collect all of your waste water. Does anybody know how much or how many gallons of water a day do you think the city of Orlando uses?
1 gazillion.
1 gazillion. Not that much, thank goodness. But we do clean a lot of water. Anybody else want to?
300 million gallons.
Thankfully, again, not that much. But we do clean 40 million gallons of water a day. That is just in the city of Orlando. That doesn't include all the other counties, that doesn't include Disney World, just the city of Orlando. 40 million gallons of water a day. Now, most of that water that is coming in is water. Talk about how much it is when we flush our toilets. It's about 3 to 5 gallons depending on the toilet you have. So think about when you flush your toilet, it's in the toilet bowl. Is that mostly water in there? No, it's mostly water. Now, do you think people ever put things down the drain that maybe aren't supposed to go down there? Oh yeah, oh yes, absolutely. So, what we do is we actually clean that water. These here are some clarifiers, but we clean that water to be reused, about 40 million gallons a day in Orlando. Now, 40 million gallons a day is at the 3 treatment facilities. I work at the middle-sized one, so we do about 14 million gallons of water a day. So 14 million gallons of water come in, 14 million gallons of water come in. So we want to make sure that we don't waste any of that water. Now our treatment process takes place.
That's the Orlando metropolitan area, so not just the city limits, but the metropolitan.
So as long as it's in the city of Orlando, there are some pipes that still come from unincorporated Orange County.
But it's mostly the city limits.
Yes, absolutely. So Orange County has their own.
Stuff, it's Orange County this time.
Sometimes yes, but most, if it is Orange County,
30 million covers basically the city limits.
yes.
And then there's the more that's generated.
Yes, and that goes to a different facility. Anyway, so Orange County has their own, sometimes Aquatic Garden will have their own, Disney World has their own one, so, yeah, sure.
All right, can you hear me okay? Okay, so the treatment process, it actually takes anywhere between 10 and 24 hours, which you think about 14 million gallons of water, that's kind of really fast. Now, but there are some things that can kind of get in the way with that. So we usually talk about water education. We talk about the 3 Ps. Does anyone want to guess what the 3 Ps are? Yeah, pee, poop, paper. Those are the only things that we should be putting down our toilet. Has anyone ever personally or has seen anybody put anything else down their toilet? It's okay, I've done it. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I've done it before. You've done it? Yes, so it is toilet paper. That's always a good one. We always get paper, and I'm like, toilet paper. So a lot of things, too, like flushables and grease. Has anyone ever accidentally poured kitchen grease down their sink? I've done it. It's okay. Safe space here. Yeah. So we actually have a grease recycling program in the city of Orlando where you can recycle your kitchen oil, and it turns it into biofuel after we send it off, which is pretty cool. Is your question? Oh, okay. Yeah, so some of the things are like flushables. Has anyone ever heard of flushable wipes? So why do you think it says the word flushable on there if they're not supposed to be flushed? What did you say? Sales tax, yeah. Convenience. It can be flushed. So let me ask you guys this. Can money be flushed? Yes. Can jewelry be flushed? Can, let's see, pharmaceuticals. Can pharmaceuticals be flushed? or other random drugs? Yes, that all that stuff can be flushed, should it be flushed. So when it says flushable, all that means is that it is able to fit down the drain. That is it. It doesn't mean that it should. So once it does make it down those pipes, it actually can cause this big, what we call rag. It's this giant, like flushable wipe party, basically, and they all kind of stick together with that grease, and they just get stuck in the pipes. And if that water can't get through anywhere, where do you guys think it may come out? Anybody? Your house. Who wants all that wastewater coming right back up your toilet? I don't. Or up our sinks or anything like that. What about onto our roads? Anyone ever see those drains on like the side of the roads? Yeah. So if that water comes back up those manholes and goes into those drains, does anyone know where those go? They go to our lakes, our rivers, all those fun places. And that water is not treated. So any trash or other items that go down those drains, it just goes straight to the lakes, and that's it. It just hangs out there. So that's why it's super important that we're more conscious about what we're putting down our drain, because it truly can affect the environment. So I have a couple of other things that we're going to talk about as far as reclaimed water. Has anyone ever seen these purple signs before? So whenever that water is treated, it's treated a bunch of times. All that trash is filtered out. We throw about a dumpster a day away of trash that comes through that does make it to our sewer or into our treatment facility. And then after that, we have to chlorinate it and disinfect it a bunch of times. Don't worry, it's not, basically poop water coming out. But these signs, they actually replenish the Florida aquifer. So all that water will go back into the aquifer to be used. And then they also get used as irrigation. So for things like our golf courses or our homes, as well as going to the wetlands. So one of our locations, the Iron Bridge location over by UCF, they actually will send the water straight to the wetlands to be recleaned, as well as replenishing the wetlands in the Everglades, which I think is pretty cool. So we're going to play a fun game. Are you guys ready? Yeah, I know. Super exciting. All right. Let me get this back to you so I have a free hand. How far does this stretch? Pretty far? All right, so I have some jars here, and I'm going to show them to you, and I'm going to ask you if you would drink it. You guys ready? All right, what about this one? Raise your hand if you would drink this jar right now, hot summer day. Yeah, they are not Skittles. I wish they were Skittles. Anybody? So this here is what represents, it's kind of more of a visual aid, of microplastics and prescription medicines. Who has ever put prescription medicines down the toilet? Anybody want to dare to admit that one? Yeah, I've got one brave soul. I've done it. It's okay. It happens. Before I knew. So prescription medicines, what did they do best when you put them down into water? They dissolve. Do you think it's really difficult for us to get that out? Our systems are actually not designed to. So when we put prescription medicines or other microplastics down the drains, all drains, I'm talking shower drains, toilet drains, sink drains, all of those drains, we can't get them out. So they just keep moving through the system. Sometimes they do come out, but they're not designed to, so it's not necessarily going to come out. Does anyone know what products we have sometimes in our bathrooms that have microplastics in them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, hand soaps, absolutely. Anybody else?
Manufacturers resist regulations to say replace it with plastic. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And then lobby Washington.
Yeah.
Say no, we don't want regulations on.
Absolutely. So hand soaps. Go ahead.
Believe it or not, I think some toothpaste used to have.
Toothpaste, absolutely. Toothpaste, hand soaps. Anybody else? Maybe some makeup, would you say? Yeah, body scrub, absolutely. Something else that's in a lot of those products, has anyone ever seen like shea oil, argan oil? Those are all oils. We wash them all over our bodies and we're like, oh, nice hair, fresh, clean, and then it goes right down the drain. So somewhere else that we get a lot of that oil buildup is just by using those products as well. So, this one's a little bit more gross, sorry. Does anyone know what's in this one? I know it's hard for you guys to see in the back. Yeah, so these here are Band-Aids. Anyone want to guess how long they've been in this jar? We've got some, no, absolutely not. So they have actually been in this jar for a little over 2 years. It takes about 450 years for plastic to break down, which is a lot longer than I'll be here, especially at the rate that I'm going. But we have this jar here to kind of show you that those are some common items that people will put down the drain and they don't go anywhere. They just sit there, and a lot of times they can cause a lot of problems. Now, question, who would drink the Band-Aid water? Anybody? I forgot to ask. I know, silly of me. What about this one here? Anybody want to guess? Yeah, so this here is a flushable wipe. It's also been in here for 2 years. Yummy. Would you drink this one? Yeah? No? Anybody want to use this tonight? No? Okay. I tried, but that's all right. So this one here, this is what a flushable wipe looks like after 2 years of sitting in water. Now, a lot of flushable wipes say decomposable, compostable, and all that fun stuff. But if we put it down the toilet, do you think there's enough time from the time it goes from the toilet to our other systems that we have to pull all this trash out? Enough time to break down? This has been here for 2 years, so probably not. So it's pretty crazy to think that this here will probably take a really long time to break down. All right, what about this one? Anyone want to drink this one? Really? No? Nobody? No, it's just food coloring. So this here is what water and grease look like together. So a lot of people think, I wish I thought this, if you put hot water and some soap with your grease down your kitchen sink, it goes away. Who's ever thought about that or thought that? Yeah? So I thought that. It actually doesn't. Water and soap, and then as well as the oil, don't actually mix. So even though it may not cause a problem right underneath your sink, it will cause a problem in our sewer lines. We have about 800 plus miles of sewer lines. So you can think of like all of them are clogged with grease. That wouldn't be very good. Think about if you guys ate like fast food every day for like a year, your arteries would be really clogged, right? Your blood would have a really hard time getting through all of those arteries. Same idea. So the arteries of our city sometimes can get clogged with grease. Another one here. Anyone want to drink this? Got some gross faces in the back. Absolutely not. So this one here is an example, it's not real, don't worry, of wastewater. So this is kind of what it looks like when it comes to us. Now, who has a guess on what the most important thing is in this jar is? Yeah, water, absolutely. But we have to get all of that trash out first to clean it. What's really cool is we actually will take those biosolids, the poop, and we'll actually squish all the water out of those as well and use it for fertilizer. So everything that comes into our facility is not wasted, except for the trash, of course. But all of that stuff is reused, which is pretty cool to think that we're able to take things like our wastewater and reuse it, to recycle it. My last one, who would drink this one? Yeah, I got some more hands raised for this one. Looks okay. I know y'all are like, this is a trick question. What's in there? So this here is actually reclaimed water. So this is what it looks like when it leaves our facility. So I don't know about you guys, but if it's a hot summer day, I would probably drink this. Yeah? So I think it's amazing that we can take water that looks like that last jar I just showed you and turn it into something like this to be reused, to be used on our lawns and our grasses. Lee was talking earlier about how 70% of our water is taken out of the aquifer to be used as irrigation, when we can be using something like this instead to irrigate our lawns. It has extra nutrients in it, which is not good for us to drink, but you're able to put it on your lawns, and you're able to use it for that kind of stuff in order for you to save our potable water and use that for us instead. So my challenge for you guys, if reclaimed water is available to you, try to use it. Try to switch over. You'd be surprised, it's kind of one of those things that's like a harder, like the greenest thing you can do, but it's available in a lot of our areas to use. So if you have any questions, let me know. But if not, I'm going to leave Lee my card. And that way, if you guys have those questions that you think of later, you're more than welcome to email me. We also do tours of our education center and the treatment process. So if you'd like to come and see it more in detail and really get a closer look about what happens to your water and your waste, we can do that as well. Did you have a question in the back?
Yeah, I just was curious, what are the biggest ways, besides people flushing pharmaceuticals down the toilet in whole form, is that in urine, right? And that in urine, estrogen from birth control or a lot of other hormones from different medications can get into the water supply, and it's been known to make frogs and ponds hermaphroditic or infect fish populations. Does the city test for that kind of chemical concentration?
Absolutely. So the water at our treatment facility is tested every hour. at multiple different locations. So it's not just tested at one spot every hour, but like at each separate process that it goes through, it's tested. And it has certain regulations it has to meet. Now, the medications I talked about that are getting through the system, most of those aren't coming from necessarily our bodies. A lot of the medications we take are absorbed. There could be some, but the real issue is when you have like the jar of medications from a loved one that's maybe passed away, or yourself, or you move into a place and there's some extra stuff hanging around. You're like, I don't know what to do with this. People just dump it down the toilet. So that's really going to be the big issue, is just the excess amount. Even things like chemicals, so like excess bleach, Drano, all that stuff, like using it in excessiveness. That's really kind of the bigger issue. So not like the little bit here and there, but when you're using it consistently. Does that kind of answer your question? And it's also tested too before it leaves. So when it does go to the wetlands, it's tested, I think, like at least 4 more times. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure all pharmacies, you can go to a pharmacy and there's a container there, and you can put your pharmaceuticals there and they will dispose of them.
Yes, so you can take them to a lot of like CVS's. You can just do like a drop off. Yeah, any of those places. Yeah, if they're yours. Now, if they're not yours, you're not supposed to have them in your possession, but you can call an officer, and the officer will come to your home, no questions asked, and pick them up from you and take them as well. So you don't have to worry about transporting prescriptions that aren't in your name.
How long does it take for a flush to get through your system?
So from the toilet all the way through? It's hard to say because I don't know exactly the amount from the toilet to our system. But I want to say it's probably maybe like 24 to 48 hours by the time you flush the toilet to get to us. Now, that's on a good day. That's with like no blockages, no issues, because the first stop it goes from your home is going to be called a lift station, and they're basically to help lift the water up to keep it moving on, but those pumps can get clogged with those rags, and when those pumps get clogged with rags or other, things that people are flushing down the toilet, it can cause the system to kind of stall. So it's hard to kind of tell, but I believe from the time you flush all the way through, it's about probably about 48 hours.
How many treatment facilities is this in New Orlando run?
3. So we have like a small one called Conserve 1 out by the airport, a middle one called Iron Bridge by UCF, and then the largest one was by UCF called Iron Bridge, and the middle one I work at is Conserve 2, and it's over off LB McLeod and Kirkman. It's by Universal Studios.
So I think I read that the Orlando Easterly Wetlands can take like 35 million gallons a day in wastewater. I was wondering if there was like capacity issues with the city, or if they were planning other big capital projects for natural wastewater treatment like wetlands, or if they're going to do new mechanical plants like Iron Bridge or something like that.
I'm not sure. It's a great question. Wetlands, I'm sorry? He's basically asking if, which correct me if I'm wrong, basically asking if there's any larger infrastructures that we're building as far as to, retreat water, right?
Yeah, and specifically like wetlands, because I know from a sustainability aspect that we're naturally treating water by putting them through the wetlands as opposed to a mechanical facility. If the city is focusing anything
Not the city specifically, as far as more projects like the wetlands. The wetlands is man-made. I don't know if you guys knew that, but the wetlands is man-made specifically to clean the water, and it's dechlorinated once it gets there, so there's no extra stuff in it. No, not the city of Orlando, but I'm not sure where, but somewhere in Florida, they are working on taking the water straight from a treatment plant, skipping the whole aquifer portion, so skipping all that, and then going straight to be into drinking water. We are removing water out of our aquifer too fast, so we're constantly pulling water out. We're very lucky to have water at the snap of our finger, and so because we're pulling out that water so fast, we're not able to keep up with putting it back in, so we may have to soon, in the next 20, 50 years, skip that step and then go directly to drinking water. So, but that, I don't know exactly where in Florida that is.
Yes.
It's Altamont Springs.
Thank you.
Altamont Springs.
Thank you. I was like, I want to say that's what it was. I didn't want to be like Altamont Springs, and then it was completely wrong. But thank you so much.
Is it harmful to reclaim water to emit a stench?
It does. It does have a different odor to it, and that's because there are extra chemicals that we keep in that water to make sure it's not like contaminated. So it does have like a chlorine smell to it, but there's also extra nitrogen and phosphorus in that water, which can smell just a little bit weird. So the smell is normal. Way back.
There was an article I had read by an environmental psychologist who claimed that it seems like more energy and water efficient appliances are actually more effective at conserving water resources than simple restrictive behaviors like shorter showers or turning the tap off when you're brushing your teeth. Can you speak to whether that's accurate or not?
I can't, only because I don't know, to be completely honest. I could see that, though, if there were, like, our washing machines and our, like, dishwashers and all that stuff, if they're going to be, like, the machine itself was saving water, I could see that being better than me, timing myself in the shower to only take 4-minute showers. But I think all of it across the board can definitely help. I don't know necessarily if one is better than the other, but I'm sure there are research done out there that may kind of go off of that as well. But I'm not sure, but that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
One more question. You had mentioned that the solids in the process were used as fertilizer. Where are you using?
So before it was in the orange groves, but now since Florida doesn't have a ton of orange groves anymore, I'm not exactly sure where it goes. I can get the information for you if you'd like. You can take one of my cards. But they are Class A fertilizer, so it's actually really cool if you want to come out and see the process. But it has this fun belt that basically presses all the water out, and that water is then treated. And so maybe some tomatoes, maybe. But it's Class A fertilizer, so it's completely safe. There's no pathogens or anything in it, and it's put at the roots as well, which reclaimed water can be used on vegetables and stuff if it's on the roots, not on the tops. But I can definitely get you that answer if you would like. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for bearing with me. I appreciate it.
Can we just give her one more round of applause? Thank you so much. That was so insightful.